not just bombs and bullets. The Netherlands, a leader in counter-terrorism, understands this. The Dutch government funds programs that promote social integration, especially for immigrant communities. These programs encourage cultural exchange, build trust, and foster a sense of belonging, making extremist narratives less appealing. Events and workshops focus on critical thinking, media literacy, and spotting early signs of radicalization.
Egypt, anytime. Moving on to the next speaker, Belgium.
Belgium is also a member of the counter-ISIS finance group CILG in 2006 in response to UNSC 1373. The country created a domestic designation design that allows it to free cases of twisted terrorism. The Terrorist Offence Act published in the Mutual Branch official gazette of 29 December 2003, which transposed into Belgian law the Council of the European Union Framework Decision of 13 June 2000 on combating terrorism. It introduced a bill into the Belgian Criminal Code concerning terrorist offences. The main theme is form extensively to date shortly referred to as ISIL. Previous incidents have included federal attacks against civilian law and law enforcement. On 16 October 2003, 2 people were killed and were seriously injured in terrorism-related shooting, which led to
South Korea.
As a delegate of South Korea, I stress the critical role of public participation in our global fight against terrorism. We recognize that engaging community is vital in countering extremism. Through open dialogue and education, we empower individuals to resist radicalization. South Korea integrates counterterrorism education from school to college curricula, fostering critical thinking skills to combat extremist ideologies. Moreover, partnerships with diverse stakeholders, including religious leaders and civil society organizations, are essential. By leveraging local expertise, we develop targeted intervention to address community-specific vulnerabilities. Additionally, investing in youth empowerment programs and economic opportunities can provide alternative paths away from extremism. In solidarity with our global partners, South Korea stands ready to share our experiences and expertise. Thank you.
Sweden.
The role of public participation remains crucial to fight against terrorism. Hence, the Center for Preventing Violent Extremism is tasked with developing technologies and cross-sector work involving preventing violent extremism at all the national, regional, and local levels in Sweden by educating and engaging citizens. This includes providing support to locals, serving as a knowledge hub, and contributing to creating greater effectiveness and coordination among the people. Sweden ranks among the top countries in how to transform government, as we believe that public access to information is a fundamental principle to further increase citizen participation through technology. In a country like China, where democracy and justice are and people enjoy no political rights, participation level remains low. Hence, if global terrorists attack due to higher recruitment levels. International policies Sweden is helping communities global recruitment in terrorist activities by removing them from the extremist environment and collaborating with the local clubs and organizations.
USA. Delegate of USA, prepare.
Yes. As a delegate of the United States, I stand before you to address the critical agenda of public participation in engaging communities as an anti-terrorism recruitment strategy, supported by concrete data. The US has implemented successful initiatives such as Building Resilient Communities program, which has seen a significant decrease in the recruitment of terrorists and targeted communities, as evidenced as 30%, 35% reduction. Additionally, a study by the Institute of Strategic Dialogue highlights the effectiveness of community-led interventions in preventing the individuals from joining terrorist groups or extremist groups. Furthermore, data from the United States Development Program reveals that addressing socio-economic disparities and promoting social inclusion can significantly reduce the community to engage in extremist ideologies. In conclusion, let's harness the collective strength of communities supported by empirical evidence.
Canada, right of Canada.
Greeting delegates, the Global Affairs Canada is primarily responsible for addressing terrorism-related issues to Canada. Canada collaborates with religious leaders, community organizations, and grassroots initiatives to counter narratives and promotes messages of peace, tolerance, and inclusion. Engaging respected community figures and religious leaders help in disseminate counter narratives and challenge extreme ideologies within communities. As Israel stated that Canada has faced security for its treatment of individuals detained on suspension of terrorism, but Israel itself was suffering from the cross-border attacks. A Lebanese militant group which carried out border attacks against Israel and which led to the several deaths of Israel.
Yes, Salil.
Yeah, it's up to you. You cannot stop anyone from speaking whatever they want. So by doing that, you must keep in mind the foreign policy that your country has.
Are chicks allowed
Yes,
in modern talks?
yes, yes. Checks are open till 12 o'clock. Checks after 12, okay?
The right of Australia.
Good morning, executives. In Australia, public participation is vital in engaging communities as an anti-terrorism strategy. Initiatives such as community forums, workshops, and outreach program can facilitate open dialogue and build trust between authorities and diverse communities. These efforts can empower communities to recognize and counter extremist narrative while also fostering a sense of belonging and inclusion. Additionally, involving community leaders, religious figures, and youth organizations can enhance outreach and promote resilience against radicalization. Thank you.
The right of Norway.
In Norway, public participation in anti-terrorism efforts involve various initiatives aimed at engaging citizens in identifying and preventing acts of terrorism. One example is in the See Something, Say Something campaigns that Norway held during 2021, which encouraged members of the public to report suspicious activity or the behaviors to the activity. Norway also promote community-oriented approaches to counter-terrorism, such as dialogue police program. This initiative involves police officers engaging with the local communities, including religious and cultural groups, to build trust, foster dialogues, and address concerns related to the radicalization and extremism. Moreover, uh, Moreover, Norway has a moderate terrorist activity because of the educating the peoples. Thank you.
Miss Switzerland come on board.
Next we have is the right of Russia.
Terrorism thrives when communities are dissent and vulnerable minds are exploited by extremist ideologies. Empowering communities to
The more topic one, Singapore today published a five-pronged strategy to prevent, detect, investigate, and enforce against terrorism financing (TF). The National Strategy for Countering the Financing of Terrorism (CFT) provides a roadmap for the development of future action plans to combat agencies, policymakers, regulators, supervisory, and agencies. Singapore is committed to fight against terrorism and its financing. To effectively deal with terrorism financing threats, Singapore has developed a robust strategy to build on a well-organized network of government agencies working in partnership with commercial and private parties. As part of our efforts to counter terrorism, an inter-ministry committee on terrorist designation (IMCTD) was formed in 2012 to act as Singapore's authority for the designation of terrorists. As the secure movement sustains momentum, so as the secure is Singapore's community response to the threat of terrorism. Terrorist attacks can have a crippling effect on the society.
Delegate of Germany. Yes, Delegate of China. What? You want to see? Can you go like a country? Guys, अगर नहीं समझ आ रहा you don't need to. Okay. It's better to not send a reply rather than जो reply आपने भेजा उससे और कम marks attain करना reply. Moving on to the next speaker, we have Germany.
In Germany, the main exposed groups are migrants and refugees, especially those who have experienced trauma or faced challenges in integrating into German society are at risk. These individuals may feel alienated, discriminated against, or vulnerable to extremist propaganda. Some second and third generation immigrants who may be caught between two cultures and struggle with issues of identity and belonging are vulnerable to radicalization. They may experience a sense of identity crisis or feel disconnected from both their heritage, culture, and mainstream German society. Prison environments can be breeding grounds for radicalization due to factors such as social isolation, exposure to extremist narratives, and formation to strong group of identities. Inmates with criminal background may be particularly vulnerable to recruitment by extremist groups. The only way to treat them is by providing education to the inmates while in prison, giving asylum to refugees, which is being worked on by Germany.
The next speaker we have is New Zealand.
New Zealand, where community cohesion and exclusively are valued, utilizing public participation strategies can be effective. It implements educational initiatives to raise awareness about tactics and ideologies of terrorist groups that can empower individuals to recognize and resist extremist liquidation efforts. Citizens are encouraged to report any suspicious behavior or activities to the authorities. Country engaged with local communities, citizens support government initiatives aimed at preventing radicalization. At last, active participation and collocation between the government and the public are essential in countering terrorism.
Switzerland.
As a nation committed to democratic values and community engagement, we believe that fostering inclusive dialogue and empowering local stakeholders are essential components of effective counterterrorism efforts. Firstly, public participation serves as a powerful tool to build trust between communities and government institutions. By involving communities in decision-making process and policy development,
India,
The delegate of India would like to mention that India acknowledges the urgent need for active measures to combat terrorism, recognizing that community engagement is important in this fight. Terrorism often takes advantage of weakness in society, making it crucial to involve communities in preventing radicalization recruitment. India also highlights the role of technology and social media in engaging communities against terrorism. Through digital platform, India is spreading counter-narratives, raising awareness about extremism, and empowering individuals to drive change in their community. However, India expresses deep concern over countries in the Middle East, which have struggled to contain the spread of terrorist groups within their border, leading to continued instability in security region. For instance, ongoing conflicts in Taliban and Afghanistan have allowed terrorist groups to thrive, perpetuating violence and hindering efforts to peace and stability. India stresses the importance of international cooperation in addressing these challenges and stand ready for collaborating with partners to combat terrorism and promote regional stability.
delegate of France, okay, delegate of China, delegate of Egypt, are you ready now? For the speech of the moderator caucus, you're ready now? After China, you're next.
As delegate of China, I advocate for leveraging public participation as a criminal strategy, engage communities and combat recruitment into extremist ideologies by fostering open dialogue, promoting education, and providing community involvement. We can empower individuals to resist extremism narratives and build resilient communities. Through collaborative efforts and grassroots initiatives, we can strengthen social cohesion and promote peace and stability on both national and global peace. Thank you.
Delegate of Italy, sorry, be prepared after delegate of Egypt. Delegate of Egypt,
Hi, a delegate of Egypt, and will be giving a speech on counterterrorism and cross-border criminality. First, we will talk about what counterterrorism in Egypt means. It means that Egypt hosts a regional counterterrorism center for Sahel 7 states.
Brazil,
I, the delegate of Brazil, want to say that the recent terrorist attack on Brazil has sparked a critical debate on how best to combat the scourge of terrorism. Today, we will delve into two key strategies: public participation in anti-terrorism efforts and the establishing a joint task force for border security and counter-terrorism cooperation. Firstly, public participation is paramount in engaging communities as an anti-terrorism recruitment strategy by involving citizens in efforts to prevent radicalization and extremism. We empower them to be active participants in safeguarding their communities. When communities feel valued, supported, and included, they are less susceptible to the influence of extremist ideologies, thereby serving as a powerful bulwark against terrorism. Rank 1. Rank, score, and country. First, Burkina Faso 8.571. 8. Second, Israel 8.143. Third, Mali 7.998.
Israel, your next speaker.
Israel faces challenges from terrorism recruitment, including increased violence such as bombing, shootings, radicalization within communities, and strain on security resources. Israel has organized community dialogues to facilitate discussions among stakeholders, residents, leaders, educators, and youth organizations. Some examples are interfaith dialogue, youth outreach programs. These dialogues provide platform for raising awareness about danger of terrorism. This is unlike in countries like Iran, where the government regularly suppresses political activism or participation. Youth engagement initiatives like Seeds of Peace, Israel Scouts provide constructive outlets for young people and steer them away from radicalization and educational programs like from radicalization. And educational programs like civic education, peace education, and community engagement programs such as after-school programs equip youth with knowledge and critical thinking skills needed to resist recruitment tactics used by extremist groups. The foreign policy focuses on community policing and intelligence sharing, engaging local communities in security measures and intelligence sharing helps authorities gain insights and prevent potential terrorist activity.
Okay, thank you, delegate of this day. Next, you have is delegate of France.
The issue of terrorism in France has been a significant concern for quite some time. France has experienced several terrorist attacks, including the Charlie Hebdo shooting in 2015, the Paris attack in November 2015, and the Nice attack in 2016, among others. The French government has implemented various measures to combat terrorism, including increasing security measures and collaborating with international partners. Countering the financing of terrorism, France is a member of FATF and France Financial Intelligence Bureau. As a UTEC finds a member of a admit group, France is also a member of a defined ISIS counter ISIS finance group. Thank you.
Thank you, delegate of France. Next, you have is delegate of United Kingdom, UK.
So by the general understanding, we can take a note that terrorist organization convince regular and local communities to join in the terror activities. This needs to be put to a stop. These organizations on a daily basis planning on malicious activities, and of course they need men in their organization to complete the task. Organizations like Taliban seek to recruit local fighters, especially the Islamic states, which have their impact globally and also targeted local populations in its regions. Now talking about the Maoist groups such as the Communist Party of India or the New People's Army in Philippines. These organizations are hell-bent on making things work their way and by attracting innocent people by using them as sacrificial pawns, especially While seeing the Islamic State of Syria, these terrorists are promoting their ideological beliefs and recruiting followers. Even these terrorists target small and vulnerable children for their illicit activities. Their audacity to do this is strengthened by the government. This needs to be put to a stop by using a multifaceted approach by all people.
Thank you, Delegate of United Kingdom. Next we have is Delegate of Morocco.
Morocco wants to keep its people safe from terrorism, but instead of just relying on police or armed forces, Morocco is trying something different. We are involving everyone in this fight against terrorism. This means regular people like you, me, and as well as community leaders are all working together to stop terrorists. Morocco knows that when people feel like they're apart from a community, they're less likely to join a terrorist group. So they're focusing on bringing people together and making sure everyone feels included and listened. Morocco is trying, also working hard to tackle these reasons why some people might be drawn to terrorism. They are creating jobs, improving schools, and helping communities that might feel left out. But it's not the government doing all this. Everyone gets involved, from the local groups to international partners. Morocco hopes to build a safer future for the citizens.
That's it. Thank you, Delegate. With this, we come to an end of the moderated caucus. Thank you so much, delegates. We will be now reverting back to the next speaker list. The next speaker is Delegate of Mexico. Just a second. Yes, Delegate of Mexico.
Mexico, a nation deeply committed to international peace, security, and cooperation, recognizes the urgency of addressing the multifaceted challenges posed by terrorism and illicit cross-border activities. Under counterterrorism, multilateral cooperation, Mexico emphasizes the importance of multilateralism and collective action in the fight against terrorism. We support initiatives that foster dialogue, mutual understanding, and cooperation among nations to address the drivers of extremism and promote peace and stability. Addressing root causes. Mexico recognizes the importance of addressing the underlying socio-economic, political, and ideological factors that contribute to spread of terrorism. We advocate for holistic approaches that prioritize inclusive development, social cohesion, and respect for human rights as essential pillars in preventing radicalization and violent extremism. Cross-border movements. Mexico acknowledges the significant role that cross-border movements play in shaping our interconnected world, from facilitating trade and tourism to addressing humanitarian needs and protecting vulnerable populations. However, we recognize the challenges and risks associated with unauthorized migration, human trafficking, and illicit affairs of goods and drugs. Border security. Mexico is committed to enhancing border security and managing to prevent and combat illicit activities by facilitating legitimate cross-border movements. We believe in the importance of balanced approaches and prioritize.
Thank you, Delegate of Mexico. We are left with more time. Right. But Delegate of Mexico, are you open for a question from the executive group? I mean, you can say no. Okay, there is no negative marking in the committee. It's just that we want to ask you something, just to see how well research you are, or maybe just to have a clarification of it. No? Sure. Good. Okay. Next we have this Delegate of Finland.
In an era defined by interconnectedness and mutual vulnerabilities, combating terrorism necessitates unified effort grounded in comprehension, collaboration, and proactive measures. Finland emerges as a beacon of resilience and innovations in confronting this threat. Through a steadfast commitment to peace and security, Finland spearheads anti-recruitment strategies prioritizing prevention and interconvention. By channeling resources into education, social inclusion, and commitment engagement, Finland confronts extremist ideologies head-on, offering avenues of hope and opportunity. Within the context of Israel-Palestine conflict, Finland firmly denounces terrorism while advocating for diplomatic solutions to address underlying grievances. It staunch support to global peace initiatives such as the Oslo Accords and the verdict on the Middle East. Furthermore, Finland acknowledges the pivotal role of cross-border cooperation in countering terrorism, collaborating closely with the neighboring nations like Sweden, Norway, and Russia. Finland strengthens intelligence sharing mechanisms, fortifies border security, and cultivates regional alliances to dismantle terrorist networks and thwart illicit activities.
Thank you, Delegate of Finland. You are left with no time.
With the discussion of the executive board, we will be taking a 5 minutes of unmod. Thereafter, we will be having another moderated talker session. Okay, so we will be having 3 in total. This is the second one. Okay, and thereafter, one more unmod and one more mod. And then finally GSM, and then we'll done. Understood? Yes. Documentation we'll see